There's seasons to life, just like there's seasons in the year. Now we're in the midst of winter. Beautiful winter wonderland. And you know what's so beautiful? Each season in life is kind of similar to the seasons in the year. They represent different things, they mean different things. They're the right time for different things. It's quite beautiful. Take for the summer, for example, is joyous, is bright, time for time for enjoyment. Then you have the fall, time to spend some time with family, cuddle up a little bit, contemplate, look at the beauty of nature, the foliage. Then you have the winter. Now the winter is interesting because the winter can be a great time for growth or it can be a time to stagnate. It really depends on your interpretation of winter. Now, analogous to comparing the seasons to your life, winter can be a tough time sometimes. Winter can be, or is typically associated with a time of sadness, a time of a time of pain, a time of labor. You think of the winter, you think of darkness. It gets dark out earlier. You can't do as many things according to what traditional people like to do. I mean, go to the beach or something like this. But honestly, if you leverage it in the right way, a winter in your life can be one of the best times for growth. The winter can be one of the best times for growth. Why? Because you have time to turn inwards. You have time to contemplate. You have time to be alone. Now, I don't praise solitude all the time. There's a time to be alone. There's a time to be with friends and loved ones. Being with friends and loved ones is incredibly enjoyable, but also having the time to be by yourself, to contemplate on a lonely road and think about your life, or you soak the beauty of winter can be an incredible, powerful time for growth, for inner strengthening. Because if it's summer all the time and it's all joys and laughter all the time, it's movement and busyness and let's do this, social plans. Not always, but it might lead you to stagnate a little bit. You don't get that gap for you to just think, for you to just spend some time contemplating. But like I said earlier, winter sometimes can be a time of pain. And how we deal with that pain is what enables us to stagnate or growth or grow. I'll tell you a quick story. As of lately, I've been going through some challenges and I'm working through a lot of things. And in a way, it has been a time for great joy and laughter, but it's also been a time of a little bit of sadness. Not too much, but sadness, just because I'm working through a lot of challenges right now in my life. So in a way, you got to put things into perspective. But in a way, for me, going through this little bridge here, come on, walk with me. In a way, I'm going through a little bit of a winter right now, internally and externally, right? And I've had to deal with that. I've had to deal with the challenges of building my business, of focusing, of saying no to more things, of saying no to more people, of saying no to myself in many ways, so I can get to the next level. And it hasn't been easy, man. It has not been easy. It's been tough. It's been challenging. It's expanded me. Growth comes with pains. You call those growing pains. When you're growing as a kid and you're getting taller, your bones are stretching. It hurts. It hurts. Not that I would know. I'm not the tallest person in the world. I'm just average. But it hurts, I would imagine. It hurts. It's a painful process, but through that painful process, you grow. And it's the same thing as you go through the stages of life. Now I'm expanding. I transitioned full time to entrepreneurship, and there's many challenges that come with that. It's not always easy. It's not always. It's not always fun, and sometimes it's sad. Sometimes it's painful. It's not always joyous. But through that process, I'm becoming better. I'm becoming a new person. I'm becoming a new me. So for you, the same thing stands. And when you're going through those tough times and you're learning those lessons, just remember that the winter is part. It's a beautiful opportunity for you to grow. So if you are going through those sad times and you're going through a time of, you don't know where you're going, maybe you're a little bit lost, and you're going through that winter in your own life, don't shy away from it. If anything, be grateful because the winter is a great time for growth. Like I said, it all depends on how you handle it. Okay, so now let's go over some practical tips. How can you make your winter a time for growth instead of a time for stagnation? Well, if you're going to be growing, you have to pick a direction in which you want to grow in, right? So if you're going through a winter, it's a great time for inner reflection and for you to think, okay, what is it that I want to focus on? I'm going through a lot of pain right now. What do I want to focus on? I'm going through great sadness. What do I want to focus on? The beautiful thing about emotions and pain and sadness and things of this nature is that it's great feedback for things we should be working on. So if you are going through a winter, pain, sadness, difficulty, ask yourself, why am I going through this pain, sadness, and difficulty? That's life giving you feedback. That's life giving you a little bit of a nudge on your head, telling you to wake up in some shape, or form. So let's say you're going to a fight through a financial winter and things are not going well with you right now financially. That's a winter. The stagnant, reactive, underwhelming you might cry about it, might wallow in your misery because you're going through financial difficulties, might complain, might, whine to your friends and to the world and to the internet about your woes. But what would the powerful you do? What would the reactive you do? What would the you do, that you that is creating his or her or their reality? What would you do instead of complaining, whining? Or let's say you might look at your financial situation and ask yourself, okay, why am I undergoing a financial situation? Okay, what are the symptoms? Okay, I can't pay my bills. I can't live the type of lifestyle that I want. I'm struggling financially. I'm not financially responsible. Or I just haven't put the time or work or focus on developing skills, to developing myself, to developing my mind, developing my work ethic, my habits. That's feedback. So in the winter, instead of complaining, you could say, okay, you know what? I'm undergoing financial difficulties because I never dedicated the time to truly learn the skills that were going to enable me to be successful and create the financial uh, fluency that I want to have. Okay, that's great. How can we improve that? How can we make that better? Okay, you know what? A good start would be to start learning skills that actually will enable me to provide value to the world, to life, to other people. Okay. Then that makes you say, okay, what do people want? What do people need? What do people need help with? How can I bring value into this reality? How can I bring value to other people? Right? That's a good start. That's a great start. Then you find those skills and you develop those skills and you work on those skills and you sharpen those skills over days, over weeks, over months, over years. And slowly but surely you improve. Now you went from a point in your life where you couldn't provide value and you struggle financially because of it. Because ultimately, I'll give you a little secret, a little tip, a little heuristic mental shortcut in terms of developing wealth. primary way of building wealth is just delivering exceptional value to people, to reality, to the people around you, to your environment. If you're able to provide exceptional value where you make everything else better because of it, then you will do well financially. You will, right? So, just a little tip there, but going back to the point, once you start learning those skills and sharpening those skills, now you start delivering value to people. And guess what? When you to people, to the world, to companies, to reality, and guess what starts to happen? Ta-da! You provide a value to people, to reality, and they now, right? Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. You provide value to them, you provide value to the world, and the world provides value to you. It's not it's not physics, guys. It's not calculus. I actually took calculus in college. It was brutally for me. I'm not a math guy. It was hard. I had to study a lot. I think I got a C, a C on it anyway. But at least I passed it. Calc 2, Calc 1 wasn't fun. But I did it. Skills. Skills pay the bills. Not that I've ever used Calc 2 in real life, but thanks, educational system. I appreciate it. It actually made me better. But for you, getting back to it, developing those skills will enable you to pay the bills. So now maybe you get a job or maybe you start a small business, whatever the point is, whatever the case is, now you can start making money because the value, the world is providing value back to you. And now you learn step two, you learn a little bit of financial literacy. You learn instead of spending all your money in wastelessness and things that don't make any sense, you start investing your money into things that actually have a positive return on investment. Maybe you continue to invest in yourself. Maybe you invest in your business. Maybe you invest in stocks, but you invest your money. And point is, you took this seemingly negative experience of this winter that came initially as sadness and pain and suffering because you couldn't pay your bills, you couldn't survive in reality, and you turned that into a strength because you took it well. You took that winter and you took the lessons from that winter and you took feedback from reality, which told you that you weren't doing well financially because you weren't developing your skills, you weren't giving value to the world, and you weren't financially responsible. You took that feedback and you turned it into a career, you turned it into a business, you turned it into financial stability. This is just one example. You can apply this to any aspect of your life in any way, shape, or form. And in any way, reality is giving you feedback about ways you should improve. So you become more of the ideal you, and then you can create more of the reality that you want to create for yourself, for your family, for the people around you, for the purposes and reasons that are important to you. I don't know, whatever those are to you. But you see, we took something that was supposed to be tough and we turned it into a launch pad for us to go to the next level, for us to grow, for us to be, for us to expand, right? So, again, if you're going through a winter right now and you may be sad and you may be complaining about it, you may be whining to your friends about it, remember, winter has amazing lessons if you take it the right way, if you introspect, if you think about it, if you leverage it for your own growth. It will help you do incredible, amazing things. It's a question of whether are you going to be proactive about it and take action, or you're going to cry and be reactive about it. We talked about a quick example financially because I know financial freedom is something personally that I'm working through right now, building businesses, things of this nature. Uh, but also, I know there's something very important to most people. Okay. So if you enjoy this video, click this next video right here on the screen. My goal is to help you create the reality that you want and to help you take your power back. And with that, I'll see you next time. Take care.